And turning to Ethiopia, the other new African member, our Ethiopian correspondent Girum Chala sat down with the governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, Mamo Mihiretu, regarding Ethiopia's new status and its expectations of the partnership.
Mamo, what is Ethiopia's agenda as its delegation heads to the BRICS summit in Russia?
So for us, building an effective multilateral system is an important question. But we want to see a multilateral system that works, a multilateral system that produces results, a multilateral system that reflects today's reality. And I'll give you a few examples. For example, if you look at the UN system, no African country is a member of the UN Security Council. So this is not just theory. It has practical implication on the way we govern international institutions. Look at the IMF. A small Western country has more voting rights than a big developing country like India or China. And it doesn't reflect current economic reality. So we want to see better representation in international financial institutions. So it's not just a simple theory, it has practical implication. Take the case of Ethiopia. Our quota within IMF is not as significant. It doesn't reflect our economic reality. So changing that will have important implication in the way we have access to the financing resource of IMF, for example. Look at the credit agencies globally. They tend to put undue risk premium on global south. That affects the cost of financing. It affects development. So for all these reasons, for us to address this collective problem, we want to see a multilateral system that produces result, a multilateral system that's effective, a multilateral system that not only outline promise, but also deliver on important objectives. So for Ethiopia, what we want to see is an effective multilateralism. We also want to put development at the center of the discussion in BRICS in Kazan.
Ethiopia's relationship with China, one of the highest diplomatic people-to-people and economic relationships, is said to be an exemplary relationship, something that has been working for a long, long time, impacting Ethiopia's economy and also that of China at the same time. So how do you really evaluate the relationship between Ethiopia and China and its future?
Well, China is an important country for Ethiopia for several reasons. And first of all, China is Ethiopia's largest export destination. Second, China is the most important source of foreign direct investment for Ethiopia. And third, China is the biggest source of development finance for Ethiopia. So the relationship that we have with China is one of the most strategic relationships because the relationship benefits both countries. So for Ethiopia, it's not a question of choosing one country over another. It's a question of pursuing your national interest. It's a question of putting development at the center. So it's also a question of improving the livelihood of your people. So in that sense, we treat our relationship with China as one of the most strategic and the most politically important relationship. As you know, the relationship with China has recently been elevated. And we treat our friends and partners in China with utmost respect, and we also want to deepen our relationship across different economic sectors. And we think our membership in BRICS will give us a much needed impetus to further develop, to further deepen the already strong bilateral relationships that we have with China.